Yeah. Yeah.
What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. We're gonna get into NXT from May the 20th, 2025. A pretty okay show for the most part. There were a couple things on the show I could dump out, but overall it was fine nonetheless. We are going to go over the predictions for Battleground, so we will definitely dive into that as well. So we kicked the show off with the first match of the night. It was the triple threat match. Javon Evans versus Sean Legacy versus Ashanti the Adonis. This was supposed to be a number one contenders match, or we were led to believe as such, but it didn't end up like that. So Ricky Saints, he joined the commentary team. So towards the end of the match, Ethan Page showed up, and him and Ricky Saints, they went to brawling and fighting one another. And then Javon Evans, he got involved. He took out everybody doing a splash off the top rope. And then this allowed for Sean Legacy to hit Ashanti the Adonis with the shambles for the 1, 2, 3. And post-match, Ricky Saints and Ethan Page, they continued to brawl on the outside. So there's that. This is fine. Sean Legacy, he got an okay reaction. I have not watched Evolve all that much, but I think he's ready. I think he needs to go ahead and just get caught up to NXT. He's ready. He fits that mold, that hole that was left by Nathan Frazier and Action being caught up to the main roster. So, I mean, you know, he could fill in that gap that's still, you know, kind of not there, like, you know, Wesley and all that. So that's what I would do. But it is what it is. I'm just ready for Ethan Page to go to the main roster. I think it's time. He's kind of overstayed his welcome, in my opinion, but whatever. Moving on. So we go to Ava's office. So Stevie Turner sets out a big victory for both Sean Legacy and Evolve. Ava agrees with Stevie, but she's not happy about the Ricky Saints and Ethan Page brawl. Ava gives big congratulations to Jasper Troy and Tyra May Steele on being the newest additions to the NXT roster after winning Season 1 of LFG. Both of them will be making their debuts over the coming weeks. So Tyra, she's beyond excited. And then Jasper, he tells Ava that he's going to make an impact in NXT, and it starts tonight. Okay, cool. So that could be fun. So I figured he was going to attack somebody, and he ended up doing just that. And he made a hell of an impact doing that, too. So good stuff there. Tyra May Steele, don't know much about her. Didn't really watch LFG. Really haven't. I mean, I know people were upset that some of their favorites didn't make it, but whatever. Most of them will kind of cycle back into Evolve or NXT at some point. So whatever, it's fine. Moving on, Jordynne Grace, she had a video package vignette. She says that her and Stephanie Vacker have both beat Julia. They're competing for that top spot in NXT. She's been watching Stephanie for a long time, and their paths are not far from each other. We're very similar. We've sacrificed everything to get to the WWE. Everybody always talks about how Stephanie competed in Japan and Mexico, but you know, so have I. Stephanie and I have both dominated our territories. At Stand and Deliver, Stephanie got a piece of that. She escaped with the NXT Women's Championship once, but at Battleground, there's no escape. I'm the best. I mean, she knows that she's the best. Stephanie thinks she's the best. And on Sunday in Tampa, we're going to find out who's right. Okay, I like this. I'm sensing like a heel turn coming for Jordynne Grace. I really am. I know some people have it embedded in their minds that she's going to go to the main roster. She probably is not. She just got there. Like, she's not been there no more than about 3 months. There's no point calling up Jordynne Grace that quickly. There's just no need. Just wait a while, please. The main roster just got Julia and Roxanne Perez. Let those women find their footing first, and then if you got plans and you're going to call her up, Jordynne Grace, then that's fine. But other than that, don't fucking waste that shit. But whatever. Moving on. So this leads us into Lola Vice. She's backstage with Stephanie Vacker, saying that Stephanie's going to be in for a real battle come this Sunday. Lola's got her money on Stephanie, so Stephanie appreciates that. So then Stephanie leaves. Lola Vice runs into Fatal Influence. JC Jane says that Lola can suck up to the champion all she wants, but that won't get her a title shot. Fallon says they'll be the ones taking the title away from Stephanie Vacker. Lola sees otherwise, simply because they can't get along and they get in each other's way. Last week's main event was proof of that. Fallon says she's not the one to blame. She didn't get pinned. JC Jane says that Lola can think whatever she wants. Just like Fallon thinks she's the leader of Fatal Influence. Fallon reminds JC Jane that she was the NXT Women's North American Champion. JC has a great idea. Why don't Fallon take care of Lola Vice tonight and prove why she's behind them when it comes to the NXT Women's Championship? And then Lola tells Fallon that she'll see her in the ring. Okay, this is fine, I guess, but I'm tired of the the female Grayson Waller and Austin Theory shenanigans. If they're going to break up, just break them up. Just break up Fatal Influence. If they're going to do this shit, just break them up, please. I mean, both have been in NXT for about 3.5 years anyway. I think JC may have been in maybe like a year before her, maybe. I don't know. But JC's been there for about close to 4 years. Same thing with Fallon Henley. So, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Who I am worried about is Jasmine Nix. We've not seen Jasmine Nix in about 2 weeks. This is the second week we haven't seen her. And I'm wondering if she's injured. I hope not, but we have to wait and see. But that's not good for Jasmine Nix. It's not good for her at all. So, I don't know what they're going to do. Moving on. So, this leads us into Trick Williams. He has his rap performance. It was kind of funny. He just made fun of Joe Hendry. Called him Average Joe and everything else and all that stuff. And Booker T was basically Trick Williams' hype man on commentary. Not that important. He just made fun of Joe Hendry for like 2.5, 3 minutes. That's fine. And then Trick, he basically did his Joe Hendry pose. So that was pretty funny right there. So Joe Hendry, he saw that and he said the gloves are off and he begins to strum his acoustic guitar. So good stuff there. Moving on. Kelly Kinnaid had a backstage interview with Josh Briggs. Oh my God. Briggs knows that it's been a while since he's been in singles competition. He wishes that Inamura was here, but he's not. Things haven't been fun for Briggs since Inamura went back to Japan. Briggs dedicates his match to Inamura. Who cares? So Sean Spears defeats Josh Briggs, and then post-match, they attempt to beat down Josh Briggs some more, but Hank and Tank come in and make the save. Who cares about any of this shit? This is all garbage. Fuck this shit. Moving right along. This leads us into Zarya. So Zarya and Soruka, they run into Kalani Jordan in the women's locker room. Let's just be clear, when Kalani Jordan beats Zarya tonight, she'll face Soruka for the NXT Women's North American Championship at Battleground. Soruka agreed to the terms last week. Kalani says she wouldn't be surprised if Soruka went back on her word. Zarya says that Soruka is the most endearing person in WWE. Sol isn't going to go back on her word, just like Kalani won't be going to Battleground. Zarya says she'll beat Kalani again once and for all. And then Kalani tells Sol that she'll see her at Battleground. Okay, that's fine there. I wish they would just quit playing with the heel turn for Zarya. Just go ahead and turn her heel. Please, just turn her heel. It makes the most sense. Moving right along. Thea Hill, she confronts Tatum Paxley. I'm surprised Thea Hill didn't beat the shit out of Tatum Paxley for what she did to her last week, but whatever. She wants to know what the hell was up with her behavior last week. Thea knows that Tatum is going through a lot right now, but she'll bounce back. Tatum Paxley says that Thea Hill doesn't understand the toll that it takes to lose everyone you've been close to. Thea says she'll agree to disagree on that notion, because if anyone understands what it's like to lose to everyone, it's been her. So Jada Parker attacks Thea Hill out of nowhere with the hypnotic, and then Jada Parker says to Tatum Paxley she doesn't feel bad for her at all. So I like this. It just seems like Jada Parker is just at a standstill. They don't know what to really do with her right now. Like, both titles are tied up. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I do think that she'll get her time to shine once again. It'll probably be after Stephanie Becker gets called up, which won't be for a while. But, she'll get her shine in due time. So, yeah. Moving on. OTM, they defeat Chase U, that being Kel Dixon and Uriah Connors. So that's fine there. Who cares? The crowd was actually into this match for whatever reason. I don't know why, but who fucking knows? Moving on. So this leads us into Femi and Myles Borne have a final face-off. Femi really didn't say too much. He just says that, life is cruel and everything else. It's not a Disney movie and everything, all that jazz. He says that he's the bringer of war. He's the ruler and the destroyer. He's going to be merciful, merciless, relentless, and unforgiving. He's going to treat Myles Borne just like everybody else come Sunday. So Myles says that he's going to continue to prove people wrong. And he says that he's going to shock the world at Battleground. Because everybody's going to hear the 1, 2, 3 loud and clear. Okay. Then out of nowhere, Jasper Troy, he shows up. He hits Femi from behind with a running body block. And then he hits Oba with the black hole slam, which was great. And then Myles Borne tries to make the save. And then Oba, he refuses help from Myles Borne. And then Myles Borne then hands the NXT title to Femi. And then the two of them have a standoff. And that was it. So, pretty good shit there. The promo itself was a little bit too long from both guys. It could have been kind of shorter. I would have made it like a 2 to 3 minute segment, really. But Jasper showing up is really cool. I do like that. Clearly, they're doing something with him anyway. They're going to probably give him a little mini big push out the gate. But we'll have to wait and see. So, should be fun. All right. Moving on. So, we go to Ava's office. She's pissed off at Ricky Saints and Ethan Page. So, both guys want to get their hands on each other. Pause. And so, basically, next week, Ricky Saints is going to take on Ethan Page once again. And then, it's because Ava said so. And she said that the NXT North American Championship is going to be on the line. So, whatever. Who cares about this shit? Ava is the worst general manager. She's the worst. Like, she sucks at her job. She's so damn bad at her job. She really is. I ain't going to hold you up on that one. Moving on. So, Tony D'Angelo, he cut a really good backstage promo. He said the worst thing about betrayal is that it never comes from your enemies, it comes from your family. He calls Stacks an MFer, which is great. I love that. He says, Stacks, you motherfucker. Look, he tried, okay? He understands why Stacks did what he did, but he's not a coward. He thought that him and Stacks were built the same. They're not cut from the same cloth, apparently. So growing up as kids, they always had each other's backs. But Tony D says, you worry about yourself, and that's easy. That's why you never got to sit at the big chair. You got guts, but you got no brains. You're hot-headed. You made your bed, and at Battleground, you're going to lay in it. Because on Sunday, there's no betrayal. There's no bailout. It's just me breaking your face. Nice. I love that. Really good shit. This gets me excited for Sunday. I'm pumped. This should be a really good match. However, I think this is just going to be just the start of their feud. I kind of wanted this to have a special stipulation like a steel cage or last man standing or I quit, but we'll probably get to that in due time. So, yeah. Moving on. So, Lola Vice defeats Fallon Henley. So, whatever, because of interference from JC Jane. It's not that important. There's been like 4 or 5 interferences on this show that happened. This kind of thing happens in WWE, I would say probably 12 times. It happens all the time on NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. So it happens at least 4 or 5. I mean, at least 4 times on each show. So whatever. Moving on. So this leads us into Stephanie Vacker. She has a sit down with Kelly Kinnaid. Stephanie says that being La Primera doesn't come without sacrifice. She had her first trial in Chile in 2018, but she wasn't ready. She used that setback as motivation. She went to Japan and Mexico. She honed her craft in Lucha Libre. She was hungry. She was cold. She sweat. She cried. She bled. Stephanie doesn't look back. Her time in the independent scene was necessary for her to go to WWE. I mean, to get to WWE. Being in NXT has been a dream come true for Stephanie. Stephanie, she remembers there for the first time, and she knows that she had to become a WWE superstar. And each defense, she's grown. It's been all worth it. Stephanie calls Jordynne Grace as her toughest challenge. She was at the top of TNA, and now she wants to be the top of NXT. Stephanie went through hell to become the best luchadora. Stephanie has conquered continents. Stephanie has a message for Jordynne Grace. When Jordynne steps into Stephanie's hell, she'll burn in flames. Okay, cool stuff there. Moving on, this leads us into a Dark State vignette. The guys just put each other over, basically. That's all they did. It's not really that important. Dark State, in my opinion, they seem directionless, and that's not good. It's not good. They should really be going after the tag titles or something. Like, have a mission statement. Come on. Moving on. So, Kalani Jordan, she defeats Zarya. And that was because Soruka had miscommunication with, Zarya. So, whatever. So, closing segment of the evening, Joe Hendry, he came out. He did his little NXT concert. So they sung a song. So he basically called Trick Williams Carmelo Hayes' bitch, basically. So then Trick comes out and he says that you must be out of your mind, coming up with old footage. Nobody lives in the past anymore. So then he calls him an average Joe. Then Trick attacks Joe Hendry with the mic, and then he lays out Joe with the cyclone kick. Then Trick attempts to go for the trick shot, but Joe Hendry, he hits Trick with the guitar, which leads into hitting Trick with a standing ovation, and Joe Hendry stands tall. So that's fine. This makes sense. I'm interested in this. This probably is going to be the main event, obviously. So, there's that. That was the show. Show was pretty okay for the most part. Pretty okay. Now let's get into NXT Battleground. So apparently the NXT for next Tuesday, that show has been canceled because they weren't able to sell out the venue for it. So they have to go and do the Fallout at the Performance Center. So that's what they're going to end up doing, which to me is fine. But at the end of the day, I like NXT, but NXT needs to start booking smaller venues. Just book venues that can hold like 3,000 to 4,000 people sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to think that you're going to get 8,000 people out for these shows all the time. That's not going to happen. That'll happen sometimes, but it's not going to happen all the time. And right now, they've got, I think, 6,500 tickets sold as of right now. But I think the venue can hold, 8,000. I don't think that they'll get 8,000 people out. I don't think it's going to be a sellout show. But what I do think is they'll probably end up getting maybe like 7,000. I'd say between 7,000 and 7,200 people will show up at the event more than likely. So, there's that. But it is what it is. Moving on. Let's get into the pre-show. I mean, not the pre-show, but the match card. My bad. For Battleground. Hank and Tank, along with Josh Briggs versus The Culling, Sean Spears, Nico Vance, and Brooks Jensen. I don't care about this. This will probably be the pre-show match, basically. This probably won't even be on the main card, so it's just 6 matches. Who wins? Probably The Culling. Who cares? This leads us into Ruka versus Kalani Jordan for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Ruka's going to win, and hopefully Zarya will attack Ruka from behind, breaking her up, breaking up that awful tag team, basically. That's what I would do. Moving on, Tony D'Angelo versus Stacks, singles match. Stacks should win. This should be a Kickstarter to their feud, which should be a 3-match series. And then after that, once Tony D loses, he can go to the main roster. And I like Tony D, but you got to make room for the new guys coming in. Moving on, this leads us into Myles Borne versus Femi for the NXT Championship. Femi's going to obviously win. This match should open up the show, basically. This should go about maybe 10 to maybe 15 minutes at best. But I would say 12 just to be on the safe side. So, yeah, there's that. Next, this leads us into the co-main, or what should be the co-main. Stephanie Vacker versus Jordynne Grace for the NXT Women's Championship. Stephanie Vacker is going to obviously retain. Like, why wouldn't she retain? So, she'll win. Maybe like a roll-up or whatever, something like that. This should turn into a feud, and I would potentially suggest that they turn Jordynne Grace heel and don't call up Stephanie Vacker or Jordynne Grace right now until you have concrete plans for them. Now, if you got concrete plans for Jordynne Grace, that's fine. But don't call up Stephanie Vacker. Just don't. Keep her down in NXT for a little bit longer. Main event of the evening, Hendry versus Trick Williams for the TNA World Championship. Trick Williams needs to win this. It makes the most sense. Hendry, he stood tall at the Go Home show. So, Trick should win. And then you have Joe become a chaser. Maybe you do the rematch at Against All Odds. And Trick beats Joe again there. And then maybe you could either have Joe win it at Slammiversary, win it back at Slammiversary, or have him win it back at Battle for Glory, Teenage version of WrestleMania. That's what I would do in the long run. But I'm hoping that Trick does win. It makes the most sense. So, what did you guys think of NXT? And what are your predictions for Battleground? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.